We will be performing Tennessee Williams' Lady of Larkspur Lotion. I'm Ember Matthias, and I'll be Mr. Wire.
I'm Melanie Broom, and I will be portraying Mrs. Hardwick Moore.
I'm Nicole Cooker, and I will be portraying the writer. I hope you enjoy.
Who's at the door, please?
Me!
Oh, Mr. Wire. Come in. I was just about to come to your room and speak to you about something.
Yeah? What about?
Mr. Wire, I'm sorry to say that I just don't consider these cockroaches to be the most desirable of roommates. Do you?
Cockroaches, huh?
Yes, precisely. Now, I've had very little experience in my time with cockroaches, but the few that I have seen before have been the pedestrian kind, the kind that walk. These, Mr. Wire, appear to be flying cockroaches. I was shocked. In fact, I was literally stunned when one of them took up off the floor and started to whiz around and around in the air, just missing my face by barely a couple of inches. Mr. Wire, I sat down on the edge of this bed and wept. I was just so shocked and disgusted. Imagine, flying cockroaches, something I never dreamed to be in existence, whizzing around and around in front of my face. Why, Mr. Wire, I want you to know that if I...
Flying cockroaches are nothing to be surprised at. They have them all over. Even uptown they have them. But that isn't...
That may be true, Mr. Wire, but I may as well tell you that I have a horror of roaches. Even the plain old-fashioned pedestrian kind. And as for this type that flies, if I'm going to stay on here, these flying cockroaches have got to be gotten rid of, and gotten rid of at once.
Now how am I going to stop them flying cockroaches from coming in through the windows? But that, however, is
I don't know how, Mr. Wire, but there certainly must be a method. All I know is that they must be gotten rid of before I will sleep here one more night. Why, if I woke in the night and found one on my bed, I'd have a convulsion. Sort of goodness, I'd simply die of convulsions.
If you'll excuse me for saying so, Miss Hardshell Moore, you're much more likely to die from over-drinking than cockroach convulsions. What's this here? Larkspur Lotion? Well.
Use it to take the old polish off my nails.
Very fastidious, yes?
What do you mean?
They're an old house in the quarter that don't have roaches.
But not in such enormous quantities, do they? I tell you, this place is actually crawling with them.
It ain't as bad as all that. And by the way, you ain't paying me the rest of this week's rent. I hate to get you off the subject of roaches, but nevertheless, I want to collect that money.
I'll pay you the rest of the rent as soon as you've exterminated these roaches.
You'll pay me the rent right away or get out.
I intend to get out unless these roaches get out.
Then get out and quit just talking about it.
You must be out of your mind. I can't get out right now.
Then what do you mean about roaches?
I meant what I said about roaches. Not, in my opinion, the most desirable of roommates.
Okay, don't room with them. Pack your stuff and move where they don't have roaches.
You mean you insist upon having the roaches?
No, I insist on having the money you owe me.
Well, right at the moment, that's out of the question.
Out of the question, is it?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. The quarterly payments I've been receiving from the man taking care of my rubber plantation haven't been forwarded yet. I've been expecting them to come in for several weeks now, but in a letter that I received just this morning, it seems there was a little misunderstanding about last year's taxes.
Oh, now stop it! I've heard enough of this rubber plantation. The goddamn rubber plantation? You think I've been in this business 17 years without learning nothing about your type of woman?
What is the implication in that remark?
I suppose the men you have in here nights come in to discuss the Brazilian rubber plantation.
You must be crazy to say such a thing as that.
I hear what I hear, and I know what's going on.
I know you spy. I know you listen at doors.
I never spy, and I never listen at doors. The first thing a landlord in the French Quarter learns is not to see and not to hear, but only collect your money. As long as that comes in, okay. I'm blind, I'm deaf, I'm dumb. But as soon as that stops, I recover my hearing, and also my sight, and also the use of my voice. If necessary, I go to the police. Call up the chief of police. Call up him, who happens to be an in-law of my sister's. I heard that argument last night over money.
What argument? What money?
He shouted so loud I had to shut the front window to stop the noise from carried out in the streets. I heard no mention of any Brazilian plantation, but plenty of other things were plainly referred to in that little midnight conversation you had. Larkspur Lotion. To take the polish off nails? Am I in my infancy? Am I? That's on par with rubber.
Stop!
Oh, it's you.
Stop persecuting this woman!
The second Miss Shakespeare enters the scene.
I heard your demon howling in my sleep.
Sleep? Ha! I think what you mean is your drunken stupor.
Drunken I rest because of my illness.
Illness?
How I know?
Alcoholic. Don't try to pull that beautiful wool over my eyes. I'm glad you come in now. No, I repeat, for your benefit, I said to this woman, I'm done with Denmarks. Is that plain to you? Completely fed up with you quarter rats, half-breeds, drunkards, degenerates. Try to get by on promises, lies, delusions.
Oh, please, 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 stop shouting. It's not necessary.
You. Ah! You with your Brazilian rubber plantation! That coat of arms on the wall? You got from the junk shop. The woman who sold it told me. One of the Habsburgs. Yes, a titled lady. The Lady of Lockspur Lotion. There's your title.
Stop badgering this unfortunate little woman! Is there no mercy left in the world anymore? What has become of compassion and understanding? Where have they all gone to? Where's God? Where's Christ? What if there is no Brazilian rubber plantation?
I tell you, there is! There is!
What if there is no rubber king in her life?
Go on through.
There ought to be rubber kings in her life. Is she to be blamed because it is necessary for her to compensate for the cruel deficiencies of reality by the exercise of a little, what shall I say, God-given imagination?
No, 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 it isn't imagination!
I'll ask you to please stop spitting me in the face with these high-flown speeches. You with your 780-page masterpiece? That's right on par with the Lady of Larkspur Lotion as far as the use of imagination is concerned.
Oh, no. But what if I am? Suppose there is no 780-page masterpiece. Supposing, in existence, there is no masterpiece whatsoever. What of that, Mr. Wire? But a few, few scribblings in my old trunk bottom. Suppose I wanted to be a great artist, but I lacked the force and the power. Suppose that my books fell short of the final chapter. Even my verses languished incomplete. Suppose that the curtains of my exalted fancy rose on magnificent dramas, but the house lights darkened before the final curtain fell. Suppose that all of these unfortunate things are true, and suppose that I, stumbling from bar to bar, from drink to drink, till at last I sprawl on the lice-infested mattress of this brothel? Suppose that to make this nightmare bearable for as long as I must be the helpless protagonist of it, suppose that I ornament, illuminate, glorify it with dreams and fictions and fancies, such as the existence of a 780-page masterpiece, impending Broadway production, marvelous volumes of verse in the hands of publishers, only waiting for signatures to release them. Suppose that I live in this world of pitiful fiction. What satisfaction can it give you, good sir, to crush it, to tear it to pieces, to call it